In today's episode, Jesse asks, how can we stop bad actors from using AI for malicious means, from deepfakes to surveillance to hijacking political systems? Well, the short answer is you can't. AI is not some mystical monolithic technology in a black box, right? It's just a collection of mathematical techniques. It's statistics and probability. What's the probability this is a picture of a cat or a dog? What's the probability that the word I just said was cat or dog? AI is just math. Now, it is math that is assembled in programming code, and that math can get very sophisticated, higher orders of calculus and linear algebra and many, many other subsets of statistics and probabilities. But at the end of the day, it really is still just mathematics. Can you stop bad actors from using math? Can you stop them from using spreadsheets? Can you stop bad actors from using Adobe Photoshop? No, of course not. AI also is mostly open source code, open source technology, as it should be. You want people using open source technology as much as possible for two reasons. One, you want the maximum number of people to benefit from it and work on it, work with it. People shouldn't have to pony up $1 million just to work on a technology. If a high school kid downloads RStudio or Rodeo, the Python environment, they should be able to, for free, code with it and create new things and use existing technology to accelerate their projects. That's how innovation happens, by allowing people to use advancements in science and technology. So we want that open source technology. Will some bad people download it and use it? Yes, that's a given. Some bad people will download and use spreadsheets, right? But the societal benefit far outweighs the societal negatives. The second reason you want it to be open source, and this is really, really important and was sort of the topic, a heated topic from the 1990s till about the early part of this decade, is that closed source code is very difficult to inspect. It's very difficult to know if there are backdoors or bugs that have not been disclosed or holes in the system that people can take advantage of. And that's what bad actors will definitely do. When your technology is open source, everybody can look at the code. Everybody can oversee it. The more people who are using open source AI and publishing their code and publishing their libraries, the better, because everyone else can look at it, who has the expertise in the field to do so, and say, that doesn't look right, or there's no fairness metric in there. You didn't think about that, or what are you doing that for? And be able to flag and detect it. There is tremendous progress happening in AI for using it to detect malicious use of AI. Deepfakes, faked natural language generation, faked audio, faked video, you name it. A number of organizations doing very good work on detecting misuse or malicious use of artificial intelligence. So we want that, and that is enabled by having the technology be open source. So what do we do about the bad actors? The same thing we've always done with bad actors, right? You penalize them for the outcomes of their acts. Whether you use AI to commit a crime or a handgun, you still committed a crime, right? And you still have to be held accountable for it. That's just the way things work, or the way things should work, ideally, right? A deep fake, where you map somebody's face onto a different person's body and have them do things that they didn't do and say things they didn't say, that's still slanderous, right? That is still fundamentally a fraudulent misrepresentation of that person, right? And we have some work to do about refining the laws around these technologies. But fundamentally, we already agree, based on existing law, that fraudulent misrepresentation is a criminal act, right? If a hostile government's using AI to cause harm to citizens, that still has the same outcome as a hostile government causing harm using any other means, right? If a hostile government convinces a whole bunch of people not to use vaccines, that's fundamentally the same as a hostile government deploying a biological weapon. The outcome, dead citizens from biological weapons or biological means, is the same. And we already have plans and capabilities in place to deal with acts of war that involve biological weapons. In fact, it has been long-standing policy for the United States government to treat nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons as equivalent. And so you use one, the other ones are on the table for use. Now, in the business sphere, this line of thinking is really important for businesses, for marketing. AI is not magic. It is not magic. It is math. And the faster we can get over thinking that AI is some unknowable magic, the faster we can take advantage of it for business purposes. When you realize that neural networks are just a way of doing large-scale computation, crunching really big spreadsheets really quickly, it does take the magic away. It certainly takes the marketing angle away. Like, this uses spreadsheets. Is like, you would never see that in an ad, right? Like, yay, everything uses spreadsheets. The same is true of AI. When you realize that natural language generation, it's just predicting the next word in a sentence based on what the previous word is, and in the past, based on the data you gave the AI to learn from, what the next word has typically been in sentences similar to that, right? Natural language, at that point, it loses the magic. It's suddenly both obvious, like, oh, yeah, this is just a probability. If I say wildlife, what is likely the next word? There's a bunch of options, but based on that sentence, you can make some pretty good predictions. It's probably not wildlife sausage, right? It's probably like wildlife sanctuary, wildlife preserve, wildlife federation, but not wildlife rutabaga. Doesn't make sense. At that point, natural language generation becomes obvious and exciting, not because the technology is cool, but because of what we can do with it. Clay Shirky has a great saying from the early part of this decade. When a technology becomes technologically uninteresting, suddenly it becomes societally interesting, because now people will understand it and know it and can start using it. And that's the hump that a lot of people need to get over for AI. Once you understand it's not magic, it's just math, and we've been doing math for a while, suddenly you start to say, okay, now I understand what I can use this thing for, and how I use it to stop bad actors, use it to identify bad actors, and use it to advance the cause of humanity. So really good question, complex question. This answer could go on for a very long time, but that's the short answer. As always, please leave your comments in the comments box below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and the newsletter. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Want help solving your company's data, analytics, and digital marketing problems? Visit trustinsights.ai today and let us know how we can help you.